This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state. And the Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Football Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network as we wrap up another season of the High School Football Scoreboard across the state of South Carolina, going all the way back into August. We always say when we crank it up in August, it goes by very quickly. This season, no exception. Our first show was back on August the 20th. And now here it is, December 3rd. We're wrapping it up. It's championship week in South Carolina, and we've had 3 championships determined, and we've got 2 more up for grabs tomorrow. We're here at Benedict College, where we just finished up the 2A championship game, and like the other 2, really wasn't much of a contest. It was all Gray Collegiate over Silver Bluff in the 2A championship game tonight. Gray Collegiate, a relatively new school in Columbia, wins a football state championship for the first time. They've got multiple basketball state championships. This is their first football state championship, and they beat a really good program, a proud program that has won a number of state championships in Silver Bluff. 49-14 was the final score. Gray Collegiate jumped on Silver Bluff quickly. It was KZ Adams scoring in the second quarter after a scoreless first quarter. Then they jumped on him, scored 28 points in the second quarter, and it was 28-7 at halftime, and that was pretty much it. Silver Bluff knocked in a touchdown in the third. Gray Collegiate had 2 scores in the third and 1 in the fourth. But what was hugely impressive, the running game of Gray Collegiate tonight. They rushed for 452 yards. Net of 446. So they did lose 6 yards in there. Their total offense was 496. So 446 of that on the ground, 496 total. You may or may not have heard of the running back, KZ Adams. He is committed to Georgia State. He has rushed for over 3,000 yards this season. And tonight, on 33 carries, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, he averaged 9.4 yards per carry. His running mate, Trey Robinson, on 12 carries, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 11.5 yards per carry. So they only threw it 7 times. For that matter, Silver Bluff only threw it 8 times. Silver Bluff ran for 230 yards. Ordinarily, it's pretty good. They were doubled up just about by their opponent. Trayvon Dunbar, sophomore, who's outstanding in his own right, he had 121 yards, and Malik Williams, quarterback, he also had 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. All right, David Shelton now is joining us. We're fortunate we've got David for the entire night tonight because he's just kicking back in his Barco Lounger at his mansion down in the Low Country, relaxing, watching high school football, college football, maybe some basketball, chilling. Actually, I think he covered a college basketball game or a high school basketball game tonight. David, great to have you with us. So far, we've had 3 games in the Week of Champions, and we've had pretty much 3 dominations, though maybe the first game of the day here had the opportunity to be a little bit closer than the final score indicated, but at the very end, it was not close. So we're still looking for that nail biter, and I don't know, maybe we'll get one tomorrow.
Well, I believe you might get one in the last game, but I don't think Class A will be a nail biter. But the Dutch Fork Gaffney game has the potential to be a nail biter. It has the potential to be a really good game.
Well, to recap things from today, I just went over the win tonight by Gray Collegiate. So let's begin there, David. A terrific running game for Gray Collegiate. I think we all knew that. Casey Adams, I see why this guy's over 3,000 yards rushing. I mean, he's about as fast as anybody you'll see in high school football in South Carolina. I mean, he is really, really quick and has tremendous vision from what I could tell from just watching him tonight, and great cutting ability. And I don't know. I mean, if you're Shane Beamer, he was here earlier today. I don't know if he was here tonight or any other. I mean, I know he's committed to Georgia State, and Sean Elliott was here earlier today. I don't know if he was here tonight. My goodness, that kind of speed is something you just can't coach, and you'd love to have in your backfield. I got to think a 3,000 yard season, over 300 yards tonight's got to open up some eyes to people.
Well, I mean, I think eyes have been opened all year. You know, his size holds him back. You know, running in high school and running in the SEC is a little different. He's going to be a slot receiver at Georgia State. I'm pretty sure. So he's going to be a guy that they get the ball to in his hands and across the middle, and then he's going to use his speed and his vision. You know, I was actually having a conversation about him tonight at the basketball game I was at, and I mentioned, I said, you know, could he play in the SEC? And the coach I was talking to was like, nah. He goes, it's a little different than playing high school football in South Carolina on the 2A level. Granted, they do play a tough schedule, but I think he's going to the right state. I think he's going to the right level. I think he's going to be a star at Georgia State. And who knows? I mean, maybe down the road he could be a pro guy. You know, he's put together very well. He's only about 5'7", but he's about 180 pounds or 185 pounds. I mean, he's not a light guy, but he does have light feet. He is light on his feet. And I think he's certainly a guy that's going to play in the next level. And I think he's Mr. Football. I don't know who's going to win, but I don't think there's not been a more dominating season by one particular player in a long time. You know, you go back to Justin Worley and Shuler Bentley, you know, quarterback that had a lot of touchdowns and a lot of yards, but as a running back, the numbers he put up, it ain't happened. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't know if a guy's ever rushed for 3,400 yards in one season. I'd have to go back and look, but I've been doing this 32 years, and I can't remember anybody doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't either. I mean, that's about as dominating a performance for an entire season. And you think about the grind that a running back goes through during a season to avoid any kind of major injury and get the number of carries. I don't know how many carries he had all season, but he totaled it 33 times tonight. So I got to believe he had a lot of carries throughout the season.
Oh, yeah.
And to avoid major injuries, pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think he's getting dinged up here and there. In fact, I think he got dinged up tonight from what I could tell. But he came back in at the end and still scored another touchdown and had some more yards. And you know, but for him to survive that, you know, you got to remember these guys, they played at Gaffney. They played Camden, who was in the state championship. They played Oceanside Collegiate, who was one of the better 3A teams in the state. So they played some physical teams, played Newberry twice, and played Abbeville. So, I mean, these guys played a really good schedule, and he took some licks, but he just kept on going. I mean, the guy has just had an incredible year.
Mm-hmm. So Gray Collegiate wins its first football state championship. Now, they've won some basketball state championships. Now it's the first time in football. And, you know, remember a few years ago when Bishop England was winning a championship or two as a private school that had gotten into the high school league and started winning games. And you know what everybody was saying about that. And now you've got a great – and everybody said, you know, it's not a problem until they start winning state championships. And now Gray's got its first state football championship. Now, I know they are playing up. One of the rules is for them, enrollment-wise, they're like a 1A team, but they're having to play up as a 2A team as some idea of leveling the playing field, I guess. What do you think anything's is it going to cause a bit of a rift or an uproar within the high school league with the type of school that Gray Collegiate is and the way it's able to get students from all over compared to other schools who can't do that?
I think it, you know, with the membership, well, there'll be some coaches in some schools. You got to remember, this happened with Christ Church. when they won like 4 titles in a row, and were everybody in the upstate was screaming. Then Bishop England won 2 in a row down here. Everybody was screaming. So yeah, it's always a good story, and nobody says much until they win a state championship in football. Not, Bishop England's been winning championships in all sports, and so is Christchurch, and Gray has won in basketball. But in football, it's just a different animal, and people start to pay attention. So yeah, there's going to be people griping, and there's going to be complaints. But the high school league as a body itself can't do anything. It has to come from the membership schools. They have to get together and demand whatever. But I don't think it'll happen. People will gripe and moan and that B word that rhymes with itch. But I think I got to remember I'm not on a podcast. I can't say what I can say on a podcast. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, people are gonna complain about it, and it'll be something that people will talk about at the clinic and things like that. But you know what? I mean, a lot of people in Columbia are not happy right now. But they won a state championship. They played the schedule. In fact, they played a very difficult schedule, and they won their region, and they won through the playoffs. They're state champions. Nobody can take that from them. So what happens moving forward? Who knows? But I tend to think that it will eventually die down, as it normally does.
Well, I mean, look, the rich only get richer. You ought to see. I don't know if you ever seen the team bus they have for Gray Collegiate. It looks like one of the big college team buses, wrapped up with their name all over it and their war eagle and all the big mascot. It looks like a big luxury bus. They're building a new stadium on their campus. It's supposed to be, extremely nice, very, very nice. And they had to play. They've been playing where? Fairfield Central, I think they had to play some games.
In the playoffs,
and maybe some other spots. So, I mean, they're only going to get bigger and better. And then you think about Oceanside Collegiate and, the type of talent that they are getting down there. I mean, they got one of the nation's top offensive linemen in the Freeling kid and possibly some others. And depending on who they hire as their new coach and what they do, it's probably just a matter of time before they break through. And they're only, 2-3 years old, maybe?
No, they just completed their 5th season, I think. I think it was their 5th season at Oceanside, and they're on their way. This was a team that was put together pretty good, and I thought Oceanside, this was going to be their deep run. We'll see how it continues. They do lose a lot of really good players. They got a couple of good ones coming back, including the Freeling kid, but you got to remember that Freeling, like, I think grew up in Oregon or somewhere out west.
Yeah.
So he was not like, I don't know if he was, what you call it, recruited or whatever. The recruiting part is where everybody has a problem. But now these programs are winning. Gray Collegiate winning a state championship is going to be a recruiting tool in itself. If there's kids in the Midlands that want to go to a high level school, I mean,
David, I think we might have lost you. Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
go ahead, David. You dropped out for a second.
Yeah, I think the winning championships is the recruiting tool. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors or with phone calls or text messages to players, but I know stuff goes on. But I also know that in the public schools, some of them are doing it. So until somebody really cracks down on that kind of stuff, and I mean really cracks down and starts penalizing people, and the high school league is pretty much can't do it because it's happening so much, then I think it's going to continue, and we just got to deal with it. I mean, it is what it is. But in the end, the teams are playing the games on the field, and that's how you decide it. You decide it on the field, and you want to stop them, you got to beat them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, look, Dutch Fork, their quarterback next year, stands to be a guy that moved in from Wilmington before this season. Didn't play very much this year, kind of watched and played behind an outstanding quarterback, but Alium Appler is his name, and he's got a chance to be a college prospect and step right in at Dutch Fork. And I had talked to him over the summer because he was making the rounds of the colleges, and his father, they wanted to find a place where he could excel in football, and they left their home in Wilmington and moved into an apartment in that side of Columbia so he could go to Dutch Fork. I mean, the move was strictly quarterback related, and
Sure.
it may pay off for him down the road with his college scholarship. But did Dutch Fork recruit him? No, he probably recruited Dutch Fork and went to them and said, "Hey, I want to join your program." They're like, "Well, set up a residency and come on." So what can you do? You take them as they come.
That's right, and there, there's some, people down here talk about Fort Dorchester or whatever, but if they come to the school and they move and they're legal, then it's okay. It's like this transfer portal zone that you always talk about. If they do it legally, then what are we talking about? Yeah, you want to keep your kids, you better win.
Well, and I'm like, listen, I'm not saying anything illegal here, but this is not anything new in South Carolina. I think you and I could say that up at Burns when Bobby Bentley was winning championships and Chris Miller to follow and all that. I mean, they had a lot of kids move into that area, and they specifically wanted to go to Burns for school and to play football. They got a lot of really good players because of that, because of the industries that were built up in the upstate, and the families moved into the Duncan School District, and they went to Burns.
Yeah, your kids want to play for winners, but I mean, we could do a whole show on stories that I've heard about a lot of high school programs. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and name them all, but that's what I'm saying. It goes on. You just got to win on the field. People are going to be upset about Gray winning, but like I said, people were upset with Christchurch and Bishop England, and so they made the rules where you got to play up one classification. So, but the thing about Gray and Oceanside is they're kind of capped at 600 people. Unless they grow their attendance things, they're always going to be right about the same number of students every year. That's kind of the way that charter school system works. So, Oceanside has got 600 and something kids playing 3A. Well, that's not 3A numbers, but they're playing up. And they still compete in a lot of sports, and they competed well in football. Gray's going to be the same way. But it'll be interesting to see. I look forward to the spring, talking to some coaches and just hear if things get started, a move gets some traction. It's happened before. It never got much traction, but we'll see what happens. But I'll say this: congratulations to Great Collegiate. They were the best team in 2A. I don't care how you slice it. And they, in my opinion, had Mr. Football on their roster. So, Adam Holmes, all them guys, Corey Helms, Howie Bear, all those coaches, yeah, they won the championship. So, if in the future we have a private school state champion, there's been talk of that where you take all these private and charters and you put them all in one little classification and let them play it out. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think it's, I think a lot of people would like to see that happen, but I don't think that kind of thing's ever going to happen.
All right, let's hit a break. Chris Deering's going to join us because he watched a lot of the AA championship game from down below. He's going to share some thoughts on that and the games here as well. And you two can bounce ideas off of one another. We're going to hear from the coaches who have played in the games here tonight. We're going to preview the two games coming up tomorrow. And a little bit after 11 o'clock, we're rousting Coach Scott Early out of bed up at Anderson to talk about next week's week of all-star practices at the beach and the Touchstone Energy Bowl North-South game. We'll be right back.
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get savings today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
The Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl is back for 2021, showcasing the best South Carolina high school football has to offer. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com and make your plans to join us in Myrtle Beach on December 11th in celebration of Palmetto State All-Stars from the Upstate, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, and Low Country. Visit touchstoneenergybowl.com for a full schedule of the week's events leading up to the game and Mr. Football South Carolina award presentation. Past winners include Stephen Gilmore, Marcus Lattimore, Jadavian Clowney, and Luke Doty.
It's definitely an honor, to be recognized as one of the best players in South Carolina. These guys are definitely deserving of the award as well. So it really is just an honor, to be named Mr. Football.
That's the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, kicking off at Myrtle Beach High School's Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, 12:30 Saturday, December 11th. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com.
Okay, we're back at Benedict College. We're actually going to be closing things up tonight. They didn't know we were going to be here till midnight. Yeah, they did. But we're okay. We can work our way out. Joined here by Chris Deering with the Prep Red Zone and the High School Sports Report. David Shelton with us from the Low Country from the High School Sports Report and the Post and Courier and the co-host of the High School Scoreboard. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. We got a short segment here, Chris. Appreciate you coming over. You watched, by the way, I should mention the first game of the day was the 3A championship game, and we'll go into detail on this after the break. Daniel, all over Camden, 45-20. What'd you think of Gray Collegiate tonight in that running attack?
Well, it's what they've done all year, Phil. KZ Adams, we just were adding it up. He finished with 3,344 yards on the season. No back in South Carolina history has ever gone over 3,000 yards in a single season.
Wow.
And he finishes behind Demetrius Summers for a career yardage record. Just a great career. He got 309 yards tonight, 3 touchdowns, and I can't say enough about the young man. He might not end up being a great football player. A lot of people are talking about that because of his size. The kid could be successful in whatever he does in life. He's a great young man, and just the way he went out tonight was really impressive for him.
Well, it was my first chance to see him in person, and like I saw a couple of his runs where the play started up the middle, and then it was clogged up, and he quickly changed gears, ran outside, and hit the high gear and just took off around the corner, and nobody could put a hand on him. I mean, that speed, you just can't coach that speed.
You can't coach it. And I know a couple weeks ago I did their game against Abbeville, and I had a video where he put his foot in the ground and made the guy just miss, cut back and went and scored on a touchdown. And you can't teach that either. You have to have that ability to do that. You can't teach it. And Adams has it. I think Georgia State has come in and got a real steal. He's actually leaving right now to go to Atlanta for his official visit.
Oh.
And he will be an early enrollee at Georgia State. He made a comment down there. He's like, his next thing is getting ready for South Carolina because they start with South Carolina next year to start the season.
How about that? Yeah, and you don't foresee here at the 11th hour any big school trying to come in there and swoop him away. Or does it matter to him? I mean, he's set to go to Georgia State.
I think he's pretty set. Yeah. I mean, if they could do something, they have a week because signing day is December 15th?
Right.
So they don't have long to get it done if that's what they want to do. I know there were some coaches here tonight looking at them. If something comes about, it may. I just don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Did you see any Gamecock or Clemson coaches down there tonight?
Yeah. Eric Kimry was there, the running back coach. Hardesty, he was there. So there were some South Carolina coaches here tonight.
Interesting. Okay, we'll hit a break. More with the guys coming up in a moment. Don't go away.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi. Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. The parents of a teen accused of killing 4 students at a Michigan high school this week have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Authorities say they're searching for the couple, but their lawyer says they are returning to the area to face arraignment. The Kremlin says President Putin will seek binding guarantees precluding NATO's expansion to Ukraine during a planned call with President Biden. A U.S. intelligence report and the Ukrainian defense minister have warned of a possible Russian invasion as soon as next month. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Mr. Biden says his administration is putting together the most comprehensive and meaningful set of initiatives to prevent any Russian escalation. And Honolulu's water utility shutting down one of its wells so it doesn't pull petroleum from an underground aquifer it shares with the Navy and delivers to its own customers. This is SRN News.
So I'm home. Why is it so cold in here?
I've got bad news.
What?
Our heat is out.
You're kidding me.
No, but there's a bright side. Our contractor says Dominion Energy offers rebates up to $500 if we upgrade to Energy Star qualified equipment.
That's nice, but almost sounds too good to be true.
No, I checked it out. See for yourself at DominionEnergySC.com.
Where?
DominionEnergySC.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
There's something special about a lasting relationship. You know, I started off as a customer of Stone Interiors almost 15 years ago. Well, that relationship grew, and they've been a partner now of the point since we launched more than 8 years ago. Relationships matter. People matter. Local matters. Stone Interiors is all about being local, all about customer service, and all about building a great relationship with their customers. I'm proud to call the folks over there my friends. That's all well and good. But what about their granite? What about their marble? What about their craftsmanship? I know all about this as their customer. It is elite. They're the best at what they do. They have the largest selection of granite anywhere to choose from. They have the top team to do the installation. So if you've been considering new countertops, a kitchen backsplash, that bathroom remodel, or even an amazing outdoor kitchen, treat yourself right. Call Stone Interiors. Nobody does it better. You'll brag about them the same way I do. Check out their website, stoneinteriors.com, or give them a call, 461-8950. That's 461-8950. Remember, relationships matter. I know you'll enjoy working with Stone Interiors.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Right now, I'm getting bombarded with TV ads, postcards, and emails about Medicare Advantage programs, saying what I may be eligible for and what might be available. Sure, everyone wants better coverage, but don't tell me everything there is to know. Tell me what I need to know. EasyMedicare.com does just that. They cut through the confusion and give me simple, easy answers. Which plans let me keep my doctor, cover my prescriptions, and are accepted at my pharmacy. No guesswork Network just answers.
Go to easymedicare.com. That's the letter E, the letter Z, Medicare.com. Or call 1-888-486-1662 to talk to a licensed insurance agent. But do it now. You've only got through December 7th. easymedicare.com. We make choosing a Medicare plan easy. 1-888-486-1662.
EasyMedicare.com is owned and operated by eTelco Insurance Inc. Duly licensed insurance agents. Neither eTelco Insurance Inc. nor EasyMedicare.com is connected with or endorsed by the U.S. government and federal Medicare program. In California, Florida, and New Mexico, we operate as eTelco Insurance Inc.
Championship week here in South Carolina, and we are right here with it. We've been here for all 3 games thus far. We'll be here for the 2 tomorrow, the 1A and 5A games already. We've had 3 champions crowned. South Point Thursday night in 4A, and here tonight, Gray Collegiate in 2A, and very strong performance by Gray Collegiate tonight. And then in the 3A championship game, it was Daniel 45-20 over Camden. Going to talk about that one here coming up. David Shelton in the Low Country. Chris Deering here with us because he was watching that game tonight between Gray Collegiate and Silver Bluff very closely. We're going to hear from the 2 coaches in a moment. David, do you have any questions or comments you want to send Chris's way?
Hey, Chris.
What's going on, David?
You know what you have here, Phil. You know what you have here, Phil.
What's that?
You got 2 of the smartest, most intelligent, charismatic Berkeley High School graduates at the same time. How often has that happened on radio?
Not very often.
How often has that happened on radio? Probably never. And it still hasn't happened today, but But no, Chris, I was following your tweet today, and I know you were at the Camden game as well. And in both of these games today, the underdog, Camden and Silver Bluff, had opportunities early. They had when Silver Bluff got that 96-yard run, they tied the game. But the mark of a champion is you take that punch and you punch back double time. And both Daniel did it today to Camden, and then Gray answered big time with the big run right after their long run, and then just poured it on.
Yeah, they had the big run by Trey Robinson, the 60-yard touchdown to get back on top 14-7. And then really maybe the biggest turning point of the game, it was the block punt. It made it 21-7 and with about 3 minutes to go in the half. And Gray was actually able to get the ball back one more time and scored on another touchdown pass from Trey Robinson to Savion Smith. So that was big right there the last, probably 6 or 7 minutes of the first half. And yeah, like you said, Gray took the punch with the long run, but they punched right back and got control of the game before the half.
And you gotta, and I was saying this before you came on, I was telling Phil, you really have to give Gray Collegiate a lot of credit. They played a tremendous schedule with about a 32-man roster. I mean, they did not have a big roster. And they played Gaffney. They played Oceanside. They played Camden. They played Abbeville. They played Newberry twice. They would have played the Pittsburgh Steelers had there been an opening. Adam Holmes did not fear anyone. And I think, a lot of people, as we were talking, Phil and I, a lot of people are going to complain about, okay, here's a charter school winning a state championship in football. They recruit or whatever. Those cats deserve all the credit in the world for what they did this season.
Oh, they did. And I did catch the tail end of you and Phil talking about that. And one thing I'm going to add to what you've already said is you find me a team that's probably playing this weekend that does not have a transfer on the roster, and this could be a miracle.
Right.
It's not just Gray Collegiate. It's not just Southside Christian. It's not just Bishop England. Everybody's doing it now. It's the transfer portal of the high schools, and either you do it or you get left behind.
Yep.
That's
that's what I was saying. You can't.
It's the
enforce
wild.
it
It's the
anymore.
Wild West out there on every level, guys. It's the Wild West, from the NFL free agency to the collegiate transfer portal, John, to high school just moving and showing up at a school. Go ahead, David.
I blame it on cell phones.
Cell phones.
Well, you know,
cell phones and Twitter. By God.
Oh, absolutely. You can blame. I think you can blame everything that's bad in this world on Twitter or social media in some form or fashion.
Well, you know, these kids recruit each other. I mean, it's not the
Oh,
coaches
absolutely.
necessarily. It's these kids saying, "Hey, let's come here and let's play and win a championship," and it's happening. I mean, I'm telling you, like I said, I'm not going to name names. David knows just as well as I know. We're not going to name names, but it's happening all over the state.
How long will it be before we have some sort of NIL system for high school? Well, I mean, I guess you can have it now if you can do it. But I mean, seriously, you know, the Quinn Ewers kid. Yeah, the Quinn. Yeah. That's right. Well, that depends on your state. You know, he left Texas he skipped his senior year of high school ball in Texas because he couldn't do it. He goes to Ohio State as a freshman, plays in 2 games, gets about $2 million in NIL money, and now he's transferring. And he's calling other high school recruits in Texas in the 22 class to tell them, hey, wait till I land somewhere and come join me, you know, that kind of thing. So it's wacky out there. Let me ask you, Chris, we're going to hear from the coaches. How did you judge the 2 head coaches, D'Angelo Bryant, former great player at Silver Bluff, Adam Holmes, played at South Carolina, Holmes the winner tonight, Bryant the loser. How did you judge their moods in terms of how they sounded after the game?
Well, Adam Holmes was ecstatic, obviously. Yeah. And I think some of the emotion of finally getting to the end and winning a state championship. He started this program 8 years ago when they started playing varsity football. And finally, he's got 15 seniors on this team. And most of them has been there since they were freshmen. So it's not like these kids transferred in their last year or two. They've been at Gray for the whole 4 years. And to win a championship, he felt pretty good, you know, about it. And then Coach Bryant, I've known him. He used to coach at White Knoll, so I've known him for quite some time. He was very complimentary of Gray, what they did. And when he talks about KZ Adams, he's got some very good comments about KZ in there.
How nice is that football stadium they're building over at Gray?
I'll be honest, Phil, I've not seen it.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. So I heard you talking about it with David back here. I'm going to have to look into that and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Gorcho from Channel 10, said it's going to be really nice. You know, going to be really nice. Okay, let's hear from Adam Holmes, head coach of the Gray Collegiate team, won the 2A state championship just a little while ago here on the artificial surface at Benedict College. Thank you to Mr. Deering for going down. I was locked in up here. He went down and got the audio for us, so thank you, sir. Here is what Coach Holmes had to say moments after winning the state championship.
Fighting this team that we've had for a year, really, from last year, getting beaten up state championship. Our guys went right to the weight room the following Monday and just didn't give up, just kept fighting. It's an amazing group of seniors, 15 seniors, guys that are selfless. They play for their names on their chest, not their back. We have 5-6 guys playing both ways the whole time. You see what KZ does, Torrey Kelly. I mean, all those guys are just laying on the line for us, and that's the difference in what this football team did over this course this year. I'm just so proud of those guys.
It was close after the first quarter.
Just had to get back in rhythm a little bit. I think we got out of it there a little bit, but I mean, that punt block was huge. You get scoop a score, turn the momentum of the game, got another stop. Hit a deep ball to Savion Jones on Savion Smith on a deep ball right before half to make it a 3-score game, and then come out in the third quarter and score right at the bat. It was huge for our guys.
Talk about KZ. I mean, we've talked about him all year. What does he mean to you in this program?
Everything. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. Never comes off the field. I think he had over 300 yards rushing. Just an amazing young man. So proud of him. He's the heart and soul of our team, and I'm so proud for him that he got to win a state title. I just love him. I loved him. He's an unbelievable person. He's got a bright future ahead of him, whatever he wants to do. Just like I said, just was so glad that he was able to cap his senior year off with a state title.
Coach, when you state years later.
Well, I didn't know if it'd take 8 years, but that was our goal from the get-go. I mean, that was our vision of this program, this school, to get to a state title in all of our sports as athletic director. But for our guys to do it in 8 years, I think speaks volumes of the program and the work ethic of our guys and the support that we have from our administration. Just an amazing group of guys and just excited for them. Trey out wide, but for him to come in, we got backed up so many times, so we want to put the ball in his hands. Big time player. I mean, he ran the football extremely well. He had to have over 100 yards. He was a key to our first half of really moving the football.
All right, the winner, Adam Holmes from Gray Collegiate. Now comments from D'Angelo Bryant of Silver Bluff. Got his team to the state championship, but came up short tonight. Here's what he had to say afterwards.
I tell you, we made too many critical mistakes. We gave them too many second chances, and with a good football team like that, with so many different weapons, so many different players, you just can't give them those second chances. And I thought our guys played tough in a lot of different ways, but hats off to Gray. They made the plays when they were needed to be made. Oh, he's tough, man. I'll be honest with you. I'll go on record and say he is probably the best football player I've ever coached again. I think a lot of other coaches in the state would probably say the same things. He's a dynamic football player, great young man. He's got a bright future doing something. All right, football, we know is one of them and something else. But he's a great football player, but he needs to think that offensive line too. Because I'm telling you something, those guys can move some mountains. And they did an awesome job tonight. Coach Holmes, kudos to him.
And then what about Trey Robinson, the quarterback? He came out and hurt you guys in the first half.
Yeah, he too was another dynamic guy. We didn't know how much he was going to play tonight. Didn't play as much the previous week, but he's definitely a weapon for him. And we didn't just have to worry about him at quarterback, but then he lined up at receiver so that kind of gave you, kind of changed up some game plans for you as well. But he's a dynamic player. They just need to take in everything, from the way that they feel to just some things kind of being pushed around and but we also did a lot of good things too. And so I want them to be positive, and I don't want this to be a sad moment for them because we accomplished some great things this season, and I'm not going to let those guys hang their heads down about that because we've accomplished so much this season.
All right, there you go, David. The two coaches. What do you think of these two coaches, and what obviously Holmes has built something special, and Bryant is stepping in at his alma mater, which has a great history and tradition and plenty of state championships. What do you think about these two guys?
They're both really good high school football coaches who care a lot about their kids. And I want to say that in the coaches clinic this summer, D'Angelo came by the sports report booth and was filling out his questionnaire, and I just got to talking with him and was just so impressed because I had never really dealt with him since he was I remember when he was a player, but just so impressed with his vision for the program and how he cared about his kids. And he told me right there at that coach clinic, he said, we're going to play for a state title. And that's why in our first scoreboard show back in August, I said, we were talking about different classifications, and I said, I think Silver Bluff will win the lower state based on what he told me that day. And he was right on. He just ran into a better team tonight. They're going to be back. Silver Bluff's going to be back because Tavon Dunbar is a sophomore. Yeah. And, and I think D'Angelo's got it going in the right direction, and they'll be back. And Gray will have to kind of reload. You heard Adam Holmes talk about 15 seniors and guys like Trey Robinson and guys like Casey Adams. It's going to be hard. I mean, I don't know. You replaced Casey Adams with like 4 players. I don't know all the things that he did for that team with return game, play defense, running the ball, catching the ball, 3,400 yards rushing. And I don't know how many touchdowns, probably, 50 or something.
40 rushing, 1 receiving, and 1 punt return, David.
So 42 total touchdowns.
Go.
Yeah, 3,400 yards.
An incredible. And Chris, before you came on, I was telling Phil, I've been doing this for 32 years, and I could never remember. I've seen quarterbacks put up Shuler Bentley, Justin Worley, Mason Rudolph. You've seen quarterbacks put up huge numbers, but a running back, that what we saw this year is something we'll be talking about 10 years from now, assuming I'm still alive. But if I am alive, we'll talk about it.
You're not going anywhere, Sheltonian. You're hanging in there. All right, we're going to hit a break. We're going to come back and shift our attention to the 3A championship game earlier today, first game of the day here at Benedict, 45-20, Daniel over Camden. Announced attendance for that game was 7,800. Announced attendance for the game tonight, 4,000. We're expecting a packed house for the last game of the championship run, and that'll be the 5A championship game. And we'll be back from here at Benedict in a moment. Don't go away.
The Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl is back for 2021, showcasing the best South Carolina high school football has to offer. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com and make plans to join us in Myrtle Beach on December 11th in celebration of Palmetto State All-Stars from the Upstate, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, and Low Country. Visit touchstoneenergybowl.com for a full schedule of the week's events leading up to the game and Mr. Football South Carolina award presentation.
Hunter Helms in at quarterback, drops straight back in the end zone, fires deep. He's got a receiver up the seam. 45, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown for Omarion Dollison.
That's the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl kicking off at Myrtle Beach High School's Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, 12:30 Saturday, December 11th. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com.
Relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skiza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com. Brent Venables. Oh, you think Brent Venables knows the words to Boomer Sooner?
He soon will if he don't.
Think he's going? Who knows?
I mean, yeah, who knows at this point?
Who knows? All right, we're back. Pat Daniels at our studios, not too far from here where we are at Benedict College. Chris Deering is here, and David Shelton down in the Low Country. All right, let's talk about the first game of the day, and that was the 3A championship game. Camden and Daniel. Daniel wins it 45-20. Daniel built a 17-7 lead in the second quarter. Then it became 24-7 late in the second quarter, and that's what it was at the break, 24-7. Camden scored a third quarter touchdown, 24-14. They had a chance to make it a one-possession game, missed a field goal. Daniel went down and scored, went up 31-14, and that was pretty much it. Camden did score midway through the fourth, make it 31-20. And then Daniel put on a couple of more touchdowns, including a 48-yard touchdown pass with 2.5 minutes to go to make it 45-20. It was a 38-20 game. They threw another touchdown pass. Trent Pearman. Wow, what a career he had. You talk about Casey Adams on the ground. This cat through the air today, 27 of 36 for 272 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. You watched this one too up close, Chris. What'd you think of the Daniel team?
Well, we talked about KZ for Mr. Football. Trent Pierman's a finalist as well, and you can't discount what he's done as a senior. They won the state championship last year. Daniel did. They beat Camden as well. In the 2 games, I think Pierman threw for 744 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's 2 pretty good days at the office for a quarterback. He's really impressive. The kid is, he's the coach, the son of Danny Pierman, a coach at Clemson, and his football IQ is off the chart. The kids could go somewhere and play. He might walk on to Clemson. I don't know what his plans are, but he's really smart, really good, and commands that offense really well, I thought.
David, as long as Dabo Sweeney and his staff at Clemson are there, and he keeps bringing in young coaches who have kids that grow up and become football players at Daniel's going to have a steady supply of talent, because you got Dabo Sweeney's youngest son was playing receiver for Daniel. We mentioned Pierman, and of course they've had an array of a couple of Venables kids come through there, so they've had some good luck with those Clemson coaching offspring.
Brody Kahn is Mickey Kahn's son.
Yep.
That he
had
started
a good
in
game today
secondary
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Daniel?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah, they were the team to beat the whole year, and they never flinched. They were the best team in 3A. There was no doubt in my mind from early on that they were going to win the state title if they stayed healthy. If Pierman gets hurt or something like that, then all bets are off. But healthy, they were the best team in 3A. And Camden had one of their best offensive games that they've had all season. They rushed for over 300 yards. But you have to be able to score. And I said this last night on Sports Talk. You got to score. It's like Dutch Fort. You got to be able to score with them. And if you score 20, that's not going to be enough, because they're going to score 40. So you got to be able to match them. And I think, Chris, today, didn't Camden score on their first 3 or 4 possessions? I think they had 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And that's Daniel. The way they do. I meant Daniel. That's the way they do.
They did.
And Dutch Fort does the same thing. Now, we'll talk about it later, but I think Gaffney can score on Dutch Fort. So Gaffney will have a shot. But you have to be able to score points. And even as good as Camden was today, they had more yards. When I looked at the final stat, they had more total yards than Daniel did. But Daniel
489 to 429.
Yeah, they convert their yards into touchdowns. They score touchdowns. And that was the big key today.
And and something else that hurt Camden. They had 489 yards, as you mentioned. They had 327, make that 314 on the ground. Ordinarily, you win those games. But, David, they were penalized 18 times, 132 yards in losses, 16 in the first half. So, they'd get something going. In fact, I remember a touchdown they had called back because they had a player downfield, a lineman downfield. Remember that? Had a touchdown called back. They kept hurting themselves in the first half, especially with those penalties.
Well, they had an opportunity to be very much in the game at halftime. And when they came out and scored in the third quarter, and then Daniel didn't score, and then they came down and they kicked that field goal, and who knows? But again, it all comes down. You got to stop Daniel again and again and again. You can't stop him once. You got to keep trying to stop them, and they're hard to do. Pierman completed like 76. Well, it probably went under 75, but about 75% of his passes for the last 2 years. That's a lot. That's a really high completion percentage.
His leading receiver was Mason Kelly, had 11 catches, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Brown Wallace had 8 catches, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. For the Bulldogs, their quarterback, Grayson White, 19 of 36, 175 yards, 2 interceptions, a touchdown. He also rushed for 90 yards and a score. Camden had 5 different ball carriers rush for at least 32 yards. 314 yards on the ground usually is enough to get it done. They averaged 8.5 yards a carry, Chris. That's usually a formula for a win.
Yeah, it usually is. I mean, I thought they did run the ball with some success. I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet, but Camden was playing with their third string quarterback, Grayson White's their third string guy, really. The running back was the third string guy. They've had some injuries, but they were able to overcome and get to the championship. And I thought, they, like David said, they had a chance to get in this game and make it something at the end, but they just didn't convert.
All right, we'll hear from the coaches after the top of the hour break. Also, Scott Early coming up in the next few minutes right here on the high school scoreboard. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. Press that button, Holmes 2.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rhonda Rockstrom. The House Freedom Caucus plans to broaden its reach into state legislatures to provide conservative policymakers with resources and tools to push their legislative agendas.
The State Freedom Caucus Network will be led by longtime GOP strategist Andy Roth and House Freedom Caucus Executive Director Justin Ouimet, and has the direct support of the House Freedom Caucus. The State Freedom Caucus Network is intended to give support to conservative state lawmakers who have limited resources compared to what is available at the national level, according to the Washington Times. The House Freedom Caucus can help provide state-level lawmakers resources such as staffing, communication, strategy, tactics, and logistics that give them the space to deliver their message more effectively while pushing back on their own leadership from time to time. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
The parents of a teen accused of killing 4 students at a Michigan high school this week have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Authorities say they are searching for the couple. Their lawyer says that they will return to the area to face arraignment. The Kremlin says President Putin will seek binding guarantees precluding NATO's expansion to Ukraine during a planned phone call with President Biden, but White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki wouldn't provide any more details.
We have been engaged in the possibility of that. If and when we have that finalized, we will make that. We will make you all aware of that. As you know, the president is somebody who believes in leader-to-leader diplomacy.
A U.S. intelligence report and the Ukrainian defense minister have warned of a possible Russian invasion as soon as next month. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Mr. Biden says his administration is putting together, quote, the most comprehensive and meaningful set of initiatives to prevent any Russian escalation. Meanwhile, earlier today, the president signed into law the stopgap spending bill that will keep the federal government running through February the 18th of 2022. News and analysis at townhall.com.
Investors, listen up. There's been incredible demand in the market for companies focused on strategic mineral exploration. And right now, mineral discovery groups are piling into British Columbia's prolific Golden Triangle due to the massive discovery potential. China's economy is slowing down. Consumer goods remain in short supply. Pandemic-induced disruptions continue to affect global supply chains. And now the markets are bracing for interest rate hikes. All of this reads like a recipe for paying attention to companies focused on precious metals and in-demand minerals. Find out about the hottest companies leading the charge to revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar mineral exploration market for free when you text the word HOT to 71441 for your free subscription to DearWallStreet.com. Text the word HOT to 71441 now to get information on these hot companies that we've identified. Get free intelligence on this hot market delivered directly to your mobile device from DearWallStreet.com when you text the word HOT to 71441. Text and data rates may apply. Text HOT to 71441.
There are new reports spyware from NSO Group was used to hack State Department employees.
Apple iPhones of 11 U.S. State Department employees located in Uganda were hacked with spyware from Israel's NSO Group. A person familiar with the matter told the Associated Press Friday. The employees included some Foreign Service officers. It is the first known instance of NSO Group's Pegasus spyware being used against U.S. government personnel. NSO Group markets Pegasus to governments for use against terrorists and criminals, but it has allegedly been used to spy on human rights activists, journalists, and politicians as well. Last month, the U.S. Commerce Department blacklisted NSO Group, barring it from using U.S. technology. Apple sued NSO Group last week, seeking to effectively shut down its hacking of all iPhones and other Apple products. Mike Garcia, Washington.
More breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Please press button now. No, that number's bigger than the one I said.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the last hour of the High School Football Scoreboard for this year. David Shelton, can you believe that? We said back on August 20th, buckle up. It's going to go by fast, and doggone it, it's over. Next Friday night, we won't have anything to do.
It flew by. Well, you know, I got high school basketball, but I'm telling you what, the high school football season to me is just for it to be 15 weeks, it just seems like it's a month. And, you know, last year was a little bit crazier because of the COVID thing and all that. We started later, but this season just flew by. And I'm glad we got it done.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to Scott Early in just a moment as we get him lined up. Before that, we want to hear from the coaches from this afternoon's 3A state championship game. Let's go with the Daniel coach, Jeff Frewster. Of course, he's a product of Daniel. He was around when he played for Allen Sitterly, around when they won state championships before, and now they've gone back-to-back with wins over Camden the last 2 years. Here's Daniel coach Jeff Frewster talking about the victory.
I'm just proud of these kids, man, for being able to do what they set out to accomplish and to see it through. I'm just extremely proud of them. These kids fought their butts off tonight. Could have gave up on adversity at any point in the game, and they didn't, and that's the true heart of a line.
How about the start of the fourth quarter? I mean, they've got the ball driving to make it a one-score game, ends up a 25-point ball game. I mean, this fourth quarter was pretty impressive.
Well, again, that's just these kids not being satisfied with just making it here. You know, they weren't going to be satisfied unless they finish, and that's the kind of effort you get when you're focusing on finishing. And that was something that we talked about all week, all season, was finishing the task at hand.
First time since 1991-92 that y'all have gone back-to-back. What's it feel like to be up there with, your head coach, Allen Sitterly, is one of the only coaches to go back-to-back?
Well, again, what this goes back to is a community is capable of giving you the talent to accomplish all that you want as a coaching staff. You just have to prove that you can go out and do it.
You're still missing Chris Edge tonight, but my son, Tink Kelly, he did everything on the field you asked him. What can you say about how he played today?
Big players make big-time plays in big-time games, man.
We talked about it the other day, the legacy of Trent Pierman. Now, he's had a field day at State the last 2 years, goes out undefeated as a starter. What can you say about his career?
First thing I'm going to say is how much I'm going to miss him, which is funny because I said the same thing about Tyler Venables when I lost him. And so somebody else will pick up in that stead. But at the same time, what he was able to do in his career as a 2-year starter at Daniel High School will be unrivaled for quite some time.
How would you compare last year winning it the first time to defending and getting a win today to go back-to-back?
Well, I tell you, it's a lot harder to get back than it is to get here. But in your coaching career, you got to constantly accomplish new things. And this was a great one for me and my staff to be able to accomplish yet something else new in the football coaching experience.
Is that what you challenged your players with back in the summer, to do something new kind of by going back to back, which is rare?
Well, yes and no. We set 4 short goals for these kids every year, and we try to accomplish those goals one at a time until it eventually leads us to where we are now. So, I don't know that the goal was to, do what it was we did here. We just wanted to win the last game, and that's what we were able to do.
On a personal note, 7 state titles for this program. You've been involved in more than half of them now. You've got 4 rings. What does that mean for you personally?
I had some great coaching. I had some great tutelage. I don't know that I can ever call myself chasing Alan Sitterly. Those shoes are just too large to fill. But again, I think this program is heading in the right direction. It's going to be another task, another challenge for us to keep it where it currently is.
All right, Jeff Frooster from Daniel. Congratulations on the championship, and for the second year in a row, Bryant Rimf of Camden got his Bulldogs to the brink. Had to face Daniel again, and again they come up short. Here is Coach Rimf talking after the loss.
In the end, just too many mistakes on our part. A really good Daniel football team, explosive offensively. We come out we got too far down the first half there. We come out the second half and trying to make it pretty interesting. Had a touchdown, didn't end up turning out to be a touchdown there to bring within 3 points, and I just weren't able to get any closer than that. But my credit to them. I mean, we were the best team in the lower state. They were just better than us today.
Today, a lot of penalties, especially in the first half, where your guys just maybe caught up in the moment of the state championship, or was it just over-anxiousness on their part? What'd you see?
Well, it was like it's unforced penalties. We lined up wrong once. We jumped off sides a couple times on offense. We had a couple aggressive penalties, blocking the back and personal foul, but those were aggressive ones. There's too many mistakes. We couldn't keep starting first and 15 or second and 15 and expect to move the ball against these guys.
They have an outstanding offensive team. You're a very good defensive team, but they're running and throwing. It's hard to stop.
Well, they're mainly throwing. The run game, the stats are going to look fine at the end when they got a couple long runs, but they weren't even attempting to run. They were throwing the ball. Quarterback's really efficient, really good at getting the ball out quick. They were able to do that all night and just kind of work their way down the field. Last year, we gave up 3 touchdown passes over 50 yards. This year, we didn't have any until the fourth quarter there that we gave up. So that was something that we wanted to work on. And they're a good football team. Made less mistakes than us today.
They got you last year. You probably went to work saying this year we can be better than Daniel. We can catch him. We can surpass him. You think you maybe close the gap with him a little bit? Does the day indicate anything?
Well, if I don't want to sound like an excuse or anything, but if we had the guys that we thought we were going to have playing this year starting in this game, we felt like it could have been a different game. Losing all the guys we lost, and for this team to still be in this position and play competitive, despite what the score says, it's a real testament to them, their perseverance, their resiliency. Just really proud of this team for all they've accomplished.
Did that last touchdown sting you a little bit that they took?
They caught us. I mean, our guys were down, and they caught us. They wanted to score to look better at the end, I guess. But you know what? We got to stop it. They can throw it all they want. We got to stop it, and we just give it up.
All right, Brian Rimf, who had a 2-year career in the NFL in 2004, 2005 with the Baltimore Ravens. He was an offensive guard. He was a right guard. In 2005, he played in 15 games and started 7. So he got a little NFL. He's a big guy, David. I stood next to him. First time I met him in person, got the big old beard going. Saw a lot of those big old beards on coaches today. But he's a big fella, and I imagine his NFL experience helps him quite a bit in building this program at Camden.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good football coach, and he is Camden's always really good on the offensive line and the defensive lines. He believes in blocking and tackling and that kind of thing. And he really did an amazing job this year with all the injuries they had. To be playing in the last game is really impressive.
He was a 7th-round draft pick out of East Carolina by the Ravens back in the 2004 draft there, Mr. Deering. What did you think of Daniel's performance? And then, Camden, even though they lose this game, you heard him say the same thing you did, missing some key players, and maybe they got some of those guys coming back next year, and they could be right back here next year.
I mean, they could be. Yeah, they got a lot returning. We talked about the Cortez Lane kid. He's a sophomore running back. He got injured about midseason. Was not able to come back, get him back healthy, and Grayson White that played almost a whole year at quarterback. He started the year on defensive line again. I've never seen that transition, but put your best 11 out there, I guess, and that's what he tried to do. And maybe White's a quarterback now. We'll see what happens. And then I think everybody knows about that defensive line at Camden. The McLeod kid, he's highly rated. They could be a force to be reckoned with again the next year, I do believe. And then I think Daniel, they do have a lot of seniors, but I thought Kelly was the best player on the field. 11 catches. He played defense. He didn't come off the field. I thought he was the best player today. He had a really good outing. I talked to him afterwards. He's got some looks from Louisville, West Virginia, Cincinnati, schools like that. So I really expect his recruiting interest to pick up a little bit too.
All right, there you go. That's the story on the 3A championship earlier today, the 2A championship. Of course, 4A was played last night. We'll get into that in just a little bit, and we'll also preview the 2 games tomorrow, the 1A and 5A championship games here at Benedict. After the break, Coach Scott Early from Westside and the director of the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, the North-South game, at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach 1 week from tomorrow. Looking forward to being there, of course, and we'll broadcast that game on our network with airtime at noon. We're going to talk about some of the new things coming to that ball game when we come back.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
The Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl is back for 2021, showcasing the best South Carolina high school football has to offer. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com and make plans to join us in Myrtle Beach on December 11th in celebration of Palmetto State All-Stars from the Upstate, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, and Low Country. Visit touchstoneenergybowl.com for a full schedule of the week's events leading up to the game and Mr. Football South Carolina award presentation.
Hunter Helms in at quarterback, drops straight back in the end zone, fires deep. He's got a receiver off the seam. 45, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown for Omarion Dollison.
That's the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl kicking off at Myrtle Beach High School's Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, 12:30 Saturday, December 11th. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com.
Relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard. Phil Kornblut, Chris Daring here at Benedict, Pat Daniel at our studios in Columbia. David Shelton relaxing. He's probably, got his feet in a tub of hot water, just sort of kicking back and chilling on a Friday nights after going to a high school basketball game while we're here laboring through football. So we're all together here on championship week, 3 games down and 2 to go. We are ecstatic to have joining us here on the Scoreboard Show Coach Scott Early from Westside, though, I'm about ready for you to be on the field here on a Friday night so we can interview you after a football game that you have maybe won a state championship in, and instead of having you on the phone. That would be more appropriate.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'd hope we'd play a day game too, because it's like 2.5 hours past my bedtime. But if I'm not playing, I'm sleeping. But for corn, anything.
Well, we appreciate that. Of course, you are the world's finest sideline football announcer, and you'll be on display a week from tomorrow at the Touchstone Energy Bowl North-South All-Star game in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I will. I'm looking forward to it. But I think that early in the week, me and you need to meet to negotiate. I think I need a little bit of a raise.
Everybody wants more money these days, Brian Kelly, Dan Radakovich, everybody wants more money.
Yeah, the greatest job in America is a failed SEC coach.
Ain't no doubt.
It's the greatest
You're
job
set
in
for
America.
life.
Yeah, I just don't know why I just don't understand why their ego brings them back to coach again. I just go, play golf and enjoy my life. But I mean, I guess it's just different.
I'd go buy me an island and like you said, just relax. Let's talk about what's coming up this week. There's some changes, a shorter work week. You got a big event on Friday night, and of course the game on Saturday. Fill everybody in on your plans.
Yeah, it's we're looking forward to it. It's going to be unique and I guess a little bit new. But normally we come in on Sunday, so now Tuesday will be our Sunday. My staff will come in on Monday, and then players, coaches come in on Tuesday, and then we'll sort of condense it. But I think over the years, and you've been there a long, long time. It's you get towards the end of the week, and you're sort of hurrying up to wait, and this time it's going to be packed with action and with the restaurants, hotels, entertainment, the practices, the walkthroughs, all the stuff we do, and then we'll be ready to kick the ball off Saturday at 12:30. So got a big event on Friday. Joanne Lankford, first annual junior showcase. The top 88 juniors in the state will be in Myrtle Beach, and while that's going on, in conjunction with Electric Co-op, our title sponsor, they'll be doing their Electric Co-op fair. We'll have the balloon there, have a cookout for the parents, and at the same time the junior showcase will be going on. So Friday night will be a very festive time, and looking forward to that, something new, and then the rest of the game traditions will remain intact.
6 practices is all you're going to get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That enough to put together cohesive teams in football?
Well, I mean, I think so. They're all-star players, so just let them play. And it's actually 7 practices, because we'll have one Tuesday night when we arrive, kind of walk through, and they'll have meeting times and things like that. But I don't think the condensed schedule will affect the playability of the game. No.
Yeah. And the other thing you got this year, Coach, of course, no Shrine Bowl. So, I mean, you got the pick of the litter of every eligible player in South Carolina. I mean, listen, there's been a lot of talent in this game over the years, but with the Shrine Bowl getting the first pick, they always got the top dogs, so to speak. You're going to have those. I think it's safe to say it's the most talented North-South game ever put together.
Yeah, I mean, that would be safe to say. I think, we're fortunate to be the only sanctioned all-star game in the state of South Carolina this year. And, hopefully that'll reflect, the talent, but it'll also pay our game some dividends. I've always thought, our game was special because it was about, the all-star players, all-star coaches, all-star officials, the all-star chain crew. And it was more like a bowl type experience being in Myrtle Beach all week. So, we're looking forward to putting the best of the best on display on, December 11th at 12:30.
Yeah, with no Shrine Bowl and having the best players in the state coming in, what kind of crowd are you expecting? Have you got a feel for early ticket sale? And, how big do you think the crowd will be at this point?
Well, the online sales have been tremendous. And I think, having the showcase on, we have the recruiting fair on Thursday night, Friday during the day. Then we have the showcase on Friday night. I think it's going double our foot traffic, our college coaches, and heads on beds and hospitality restaurants, and that just helps the finances of the game, and hopefully we'll have some good weather and we can pull this off, and then be able to take some time and reflect and evaluate and see what we can do better for the 2022 version.
David Shelton, you have a question for the coach?
Yeah, Scott. Thanks for joining us. I know it's past my bedtime too, brother. But and this may be something you can't answer but my thought with the North-South game and the Shrine Bowl has always been, mostly for the North-South, is that you do take players from every region has to be represented. In my mind, you're not getting the best 88 players because you're limited by 2 from one team and that you have to choose from every region. Would that ever change? I mean, have y'all talked about, I know it's a coach's game and I understand all that, but has there been some talk about that? Maybe allowing more than 2 players from one school and maybe not having every region represented to try to get the best talent in the game?
Well, first of all, David, you're right. I think this year is the first time we've ever had to question that theory, because normally the Shrine Bowl takes the top 44, and then when we take the next 88, being 44 from the upper state and 44 from the lower state, the rule's always been only 2 players from one school, and there has to be 1 player from each region represented. So your argument's valid, because this year we're actually taking the top 88. I think that's something that kind of came out of the blue and nobody's really had time to adjust to. But, I don't know what happens down the road, but you're right. There are some restrictions and stipulations on, who is and who's not in the game, and the rules that we follow that's laid out by the Coach Association.
Right.
Way back. So that you made a valid point, and that's something I think we need to look at in the future.
Follow up, David?
Yeah, I just with me, and I'm a football fan. I mean, I'm a journalist, but I'm a football fanatic. And my thing has always been, and I've said this on our show and I've said it at other shows, if I go to an all-star game, I want to see the top studs. I don't care if 4 of them are from Dutch Fork and 3 of them are from West Side, and maybe Lakeview or a Class A school has 2 major studs. I mean, it happens. But I just think that we got to try to get the best players in the game, because I think the North-South game could become, the all-star game. And I think I think coaches are being a little short-sighted if they don't try to find ways to improve the game so you do become the top game. Because who knows what the Shrine Bowl is going to, if there'll ever be another Shrine Bowl.
Well, I think one thing is you got to remember that the Shrine Bowl follows one of those two rules, is there can only be 2 kids from each school.
Correct.
Let's face it. I mean, I agree with you. We could take 5 from Dutch Fork, and probably after watching the Knights game, probably 4 or 5 from Gray Collegiate. And I mean, I understand your point, but I think traditionally we've been in a place where just like we've been in a place in the past that we're not here in the present. So
right.
I think it's something that the powers that be maybe need to evaluate, but that's the South Carolina High School League, South Carolina Coach Association, and who's to say what happens in the future? The Shrine Bowl comes back, it's not, but you've got bowls popping up everywhere now, the Carolina Bowl and the Metro Bowl and all these other things. And the one thing we can hang our hat on with the North-South is we're playing this game for the 74th year, and we're the only sanctioned game in the state of South Carolina. And the high school league rules say that you can only play in 2, one in-state and one out-of-state. So they would have to be multiple changes for you to get what you're saying, and I understand your point.
Right. Yeah,
Chris Gearing has a quick question for the coach.
Hey, Scott, how you doing? Past my bedtime too. But Phil,
am I the only one that stays up here past midnight? What is this?
I think so.
Hey, Chris, I'm first of all, I miss you. I miss you. Second of all, I saw a picture tonight on the sideline. Man, you need to get the razor out.
Man, it's November, December, Scott. I can't mess with that right now.
No, that's no shave November. We're in December now. You can get the razor back out.
Okay, I'll see what I can do about that. How about that?
All right.
One thing, and you've been a part of this game for a lot of years now, and I'm just following Ian on Twitter. Ian Guerin does a good job for you guys down there. It seems like a lot of kids are either hurt and not playing in the game or backing out for whatever reason. Is that the case this year, or am I just seeing it more now than I was in the past because of Twitter?
No, that's a great point. We've had more changes so far than I've ever experienced, and I've been with this game since 2003. So we've had 8 to this point. 7 of them has been due to injury. We had one last night in a basketball game. It's been a freakish year. We had one that was from academic concerns because he was a AP student, had AP honors chemistry and physics, a class.
Coach, hang on. Can you? I'm going to stretch you out of here for just a minute. Hang on. We'll come back and let you finish up, and then we'll wrap it up with Coach Early after the break. Be right back.
Your biggest fear when calling for services on your AC or heat at the house is getting ripped off. Unfortunately, it does happen. It won't with Sweet Comfort Services. Jeremy and his team take pride in offering free, no obligation estimates. He encourages you to compare Sweet's prices versus others. They're dependable and local. Online, it's sweethvac.com or call Sweet's Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143.
When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. Police are looking for the parents of a 15-year-old Michigan boy charged with murder, terrorism, and other crimes after he shot up his high school north of Detroit earlier this week. Prosecutors say the couple are being charged with involuntary manslaughter after it was discovered the boy's father bought a 9mm handgun for his son on Black Friday. Lawyers for the family say the pair are planning to return to face arraignment. The Air Force says more than 6% of the Air National Guard and the Reserve did not meet the deadline to get COVID-19 vaccine and could begin to face consequences if they don't get the mandated shots or receive an exemption. Air Guard members, however, who report for their monthly drill this weekend will be allowed to participate and will be paid whether they're vaccinated or not. And Houston police investigating whether cash checks discovered during repair work at Joel Osteen's Houston megachurch connected with over $500,000 that was stolen more than 7 years ago. SRN News.
I'm home. Why is it so cold in here?
I've got bad news.
What?
Our heat is out.
You're kidding me.
No, but there's a bright side. Our contractor says Dominion Energy offers rebates up to $500 if we upgrade to Energy Star qualified equipment.
That's nice, but almost sounds too good to be true.
No, I checked it out. See for yourself at DominionEnergySC.com.
Where?
DominionEnergySC.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
There's something special about a lasting relationship. You know, I started off as a customer of Stone Interiors almost 15 years ago. Well, that relationship grew, and they've been a partner now of The Point since we launched more than 8 years ago. Relationships matter. People matter. Local matters. Stone Interiors is all about being local, all about customer service, and all about building a great relationship with their customers. I'm proud to call the folks over there my friends. That's all well and good. But what about their granite? What about their marble? What about their craftsmanship? I know all about this as their customer. It is elite. They're the best at what they do. They have the largest selection of granite anywhere to choose from. They have the top team to do the installation. So if you've been considering new countertops, a kitchen backsplash, that bathroom remodel, or even an amazing outdoor kitchen, treat yourself right. Call Stone Interiors. Nobody does it better. You'll brag about them the same way I do. Check out their website, stoneinteriors.com, or give them a call, 461-8950. That's 461-8950. Remember, relationships matter. I know you'll enjoy working with Stone Interiors.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Your biggest fear when calling for services on your AC or heat at the house is getting ripped off. Unfortunately, it does happen. It won't with Sweet Comfort Services. Jeremy and his team take pride in offering free, no obligation estimates. He encourages you to compare Sweet's prices versus others. They're dependable and local. Online, it's sweethvac.com or call Sweet's Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143.
Someone will be right with you. Please continue to hold. The point.
We are back, our final half hour of the football season on the high school scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Thanks to the folks at Founders for being great supporters of high school football in South Carolina. David Shelton, Pat Daniel, and Chris Deering is here with us tonight. And we've got Coach Scott early for a couple more minutes because, his Teddy is calling for him to come on back to bed. And I don't want to keep him for too much longer. So you were saying had a bunch of folks having to drop out, injuries, academics, and the like. But you've been able to find some good replacements, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, just about, 3 hours ago, we got the running back in from West Florence, who's a really good player. So, I mean, it's normally we have 2 all-star games in the state, and this year we're having one. So when somebody drops out, we still are able to get a really good player that probably should have got in if we were in a normal situation. So, all's well that ends well, but it has been a hectic year. Like Chris said, there's been a lot of moving parts and a lot going on. And I just hope we can get through tomorrow without any injuries. And, hopefully everybody can show up Tuesday, pass the COVID test and the physical test, and we can get on with the normality of practice and playing the game and all the things we do during the week.
All right. And typically, we didn't have this last year, of course, but typically during this week, you have the shopping spree with the kids down in Myrtle Beach with the players. We have the Coaches Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Are we still having those things next week?
Well, our schedule's normal. We're still doing the Target trip. Thanks to electric co-ops, it's gone up to $150 per kid.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. The only thing that normally happens during the week that's not happening is the Football Coach Association are not having a Hall of Fame. Everything else will be, we'll have our sponsors reception on Thursday. We've added the combine on Friday, so our week will be, packed with excitement and our normal schedule, minus the Football Coach Association having the Hall of Fame night.
All right. Hey, we thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on your season and won a region championship in the playoffs, and then look forward to being there with you next week on the number one football radio broadcast crew in the world. You and Coach Luckadoo and me.
Correct, in that order.
You're right. I am the weak link. You're only as strong as your weakest link, okay? So I will be the weak link.
Right.
See you next week.
So I can go to sleep now?
You can.
Okay. Y'all enjoy your evening.
Thank you. We've only got 22 more minutes to go, and we'll be joining you separately, of course. Thank you, Coach Scott Early. Really looking forward to the All-Star Week next week. We'll be there for it, of course, on Sports Talk and bringing it all to you. All right. Let's talk about Thursday night. It was all South Point, and a very convincing win for them over Beaufort. Final score 41-7, and South Point, very talented team. 355 yards passing, David, 566 total yards, and then they only allowed 165 yards. Their quarterback, McCrory, 344 yards passing, 64 yards rushing, and a couple of touchdowns. It was a dominating performance. Their top receiver, Damari Kendrick, 6 catches, 169. Is he another DK? Is that the brother?
Yeah, it's his younger brother.
Yeah.
The junior.
Yeah. Yeah. So what'd you think of their performance?
Oh, they left no doubt. I mean, they literally left no doubt that, I mean, and I kind of thought that Beaufort would be able to play with them some. But that quick start by South Point just took everything out of Beaufort. They had to get out of what they wanted to do offensively to catch up or to try to catch up. But you know, again, we talk about great collegiate schedule. You look at what South Point did. They opened the season beating Northwestern, who was only lost one other game, and that was to Gaffney in the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, they beat a top 5 team in Greenwood, and then they beat a top 5 team in Greenville to get to the finals. So I mean, they weren't there by accident. They were legitimately the team to beat, and they just they were impressive. Kendrick made a couple of great catches. Wayman Jenneret, the other wide receiver, number 1, it's just an excellent football player. And their defense they just didn't give up anything. You couldn't run on them, you couldn't throw on them. They were so fine-tuned. Everything they did worked. Everything they tried worked, and it was just an impressive performance.
Yeah, Chris, what did you think of South Point?
Yeah, David, being here in person and watching that, the biggest thing that stood out to me was team speed. They were much quicker than Beaufort, and that really showed early. And like you said, it got out of hand, and Beaufort couldn't do what they wanted to try to do with that big offensive line. They had to throw the ball a little bit more than I think they wanted to. But I was really impressed with the team speed of South Point. You know, all the guys y'all just named. Another one I'm gonna throw out there, Quan Peterson, the defensive back, is going to Syracuse. I thought he had a really good game. Just an all-around great performance from South Point. You know, I was hoping at some point this weekend we get a good game. I don't know if we can get it at this stage of it, but I thought coming in, you know, after Beaufort beat Myrtle Beach, I thought there was a chance last night could have stayed a little bit close, but South Point came out and just took control from the beginning, and it really wasn't even a game after the first couple minutes.
All right, let's hear from the coaches. One, of course, very well known in these parts, Devontae Holloman, back at his alma mater, the former Gamecock great linebacker, played in the NFL, wins his first state championship for South Point. South Point's got 7 now in their relatively young history. Here's what Coach Holloman had to say after the win last night.
So much, man, so much individually, you know, from player to player, even coaches kind of going through some things for us to fight through and be in this position and then come out with a victory, man. I can't say enough about my coaching staff who's held me down this season. It's been a great season. And then the group of seniors, it's a special group of seniors. A lot of young talent as well. Just proud of everybody. So many people pitched in to get us to this point. And I hope everybody has the same feeling as I do, man. Just at a loss for words, just happy.
You guys really executed on both sides of the ball tonight, offense and defense.
We wanted to go out with a bang. You know, I wish we would have had 2 touchdowns called back, but we wanted to go out with a bang, have some fun, and again, send a message that we're back.
I know you're happy for the kids, but the journey for you playing at South Point, University of South Carolina, go play at the highest level of the National Football League. You come back home and you win a state championship for your high school. What's that feel like today?
Again, man, you don't know what we've been through. Again, individually, I could go down the line, go down the roster, and tell you everything about every person if I had to. But this group of coaches, a group of players, man, we stuck together through it all. I'm talking triple overtime games, the loss for Spring Valley. You know, some losses like that sometimes destroy people. This team came back stronger.
Your emotions right now. I mean, this is an easy job to be the head coach of South Point High School.
Yeah, it's not easy, but, you know, like I said, I got some really good assistant coaches. I got a great group of seniors. It's like bittersweet, man. I love them. This was the goal that we wanted. but I hate to see him go. You know, I hate that this is our last game. I wish we could play somebody next week. So if this is the way to end it, this is the way to end it.
The way you guys jumped out on these guys, kind of put them away pretty early, kind of relieve some of the tension and let you guys relax some in that first half?
We tried not to relax, but the guys did a good job. They executed the game plan early, and we just tried to sustain for 4 quarters.
Was it a little strange to be standing across the sideline from the program you once you led for a short time?
Maybe pregame, but once that ball was kicked off, it was a game, and boys did a great job executing.
How about being back in Columbia, winning a championship not too far from Williams-Brice?
Bringing the championship home is what was important to me, bringing it back to Rock Hill. They didn't want to give us city champs because we missed the game versus Rock Hill, but I'll take state champ.
All right, Devontae Holloman. Bryce Lybrand is the head football coach at Beaufort. He obviously is doing a terrific job there, getting that program to a high level here in the state. Here are his comments after that loss last night.
Sometimes hard to see the good things through the bad, you know, but, you know, I know I'm proud of them, and I hope they know I'm proud of them, and just love all of them.
What special moment with you and Devontae? What would you guys tell each other there?
Just told him I was proud of him, that I loved him. That's it. It's the truth. Happy for him. He's done a great job, and it hadn't always been easy for him there. So, you know, you don't want to lose one, but if you're going to lose one to one of your buddies, it's kind of a cool thing.
Amari's meant so much to this program, and I saw him on crutches over on the sidelines. I know he's sort of tough through a lot this year to come and play for y'all.
Yep.
You know, what does he specifically mean to you? Because I know he's given a lot to this
He means
program.
a ton. All these seniors mean a ton. They just never quit, you know, and they believed in something when there wasn't a whole lot to really believe in, and they just said, hey, we think that we can do something special, and you know, and I think that's a life lesson that they can take with them, and you know, ultimately that's what we're trying to teach them is life lessons. So hopefully they learn some of that this year and over the past 3 years.
You get here at a game like this, you face a program like South Point, you come up short, but you learn something from this, right? As you build your program, what do you take away?
Listen, they're a better football team than we were. You know, now, did we play great? No, but they forced a lot of that, and you got to give them credit. Now, I'm never going to be the guy that tells you, well, we didn't, you know, whatever. That ain't the way we roll here. They beat us and they earned it, and they did a great job, and they're state champions because of it. And you know, we just got to take a little bit of time off, and then get back in the weight room and get bigger and faster and stronger. And you know, we got a lot of really good kids coming back, so you know, get back and get ready to roll again. So that's the only thing I know to do. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to come up with a whole lot. All I know is just to work harder. So that's what we're going to do.
To see Tyler, you know, go out the way he did with the injury, and it looked like he got dinged early when he got hit when he threw the first time. Right. But I mean, left it all on the field for you, just what you expect, right?
Yeah.
Him and Amari both.
Yeah, those guys have been like that for years, man. It's crazy. You know, you have them for 4 years, and it's hard to imagine a time without them because you've had them forever, you know, and you know, but they've been special and they've played so hard and done it the right way, and you know, they'll go on and play in college and do great things. I know that, and so just excited to see where they are in 10 years because they're great kids and they're going to do a lot of great things.
Good thing is you got some guys in there, especially at the end, some young guys who are going to be key for you next year. And they got a little taste of this. You feel like you guys are going to be able to get back here in the near future?
Yeah, well, you know, give it a run. That's the only thing I know to do is try. You know, we got good kids. We got a great coaching staff, and you know, we just got to keep working at it until you get it. You know, I told some of our coaches the other day, I know a lot of coaches that are a lot better than me that hadn't been here. And so we were going to enjoy it, but we're going to work like dogs in the offseason and try to get back and try to win one.
All right, Bryce Lybrand, and yeah, I believe that he'll be back, and he'll have Beaufort back and in contention, and maybe they'll get that championship next year. Let's go to the break, and after the break, want to come back and get our preview in at least of the 5A championship game. Maybe we can get the preview in with the coaches from the 1A, but definitely want to get in comments from Dan Jones and Tom Knotts because that's the most anticipated game of championship week. 5A, last game of the week, Gaffney and Dutch Fork. Got that coming up after the break here on Sports Talk.
Hi, I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and I've got a great gift idea that requires zero shopping, the gift of college savings. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan makes it easy. Grandparents, friends, and family can all contribute to a Future Scholar account and know that they're providing a gift that will last a lifetime. If you're looking for the perfect gift this holiday season, look no further. Learn more about the smart, easy way to save and give this holiday season at futurescholar.com.
The Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl is back for 2021, showcasing the best South Carolina high school football has to offer. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com and make your plans to join us in Myrtle Beach on December 11th in celebration of Palmetto State All-Stars from the Upstate, Midlands, PD, Grand Strand, and Low Country. Visit touchstoneenergybowl.com for a full schedule of the week's events leading up to the game and Mr. Football South Carolina award presentation. Past winners include Stephen Gilmore, Marcus Lattimore, Jadavian Clowney, and Luke Doty.
It's definitely an honor, to be recognized as one of the best players in South Carolina. These guys are definitely deserving of the award as well. So it really is just an honor, to be named Mr. Football.
That's the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, kicking off at Myrtle Beach High School's Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium, 12:30 Saturday, December 11th. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut, and for me, high school football Friday nights in the Palmetto State are electric. And I want to know how all the teams in the state are doing. For that, I turn to scfootballstats.com. I've used scfootballstats.com for years as a resource, so I have all the scores and schedules right at my fingertips. And so can you. Never hunt for scores, standings, or rankings again. scfootballstats.com delivers weekly updates right to your inbox. Everything from your favorite teams, including Skeeza, all in one place. Fan subscriptions are just $25 for a full season of access. Head over to scfootballstats.com right now for a free trial. That's scfootballstats.com.
Save like a pro with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get savings today. Not a member yet? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
All right, let's quickly go to these coaches. Then I want to wrap things up with Chris and David. Dan Jones, the coach at Gaffney, had a chance to talk with him earlier in the week about this showdown with Dutch Fork. Got his thoughts on the Silver Foxes.
There's no weak spots for one. Offensively, they run the ball well. Got a quarterback that can run it also, so that's a tough situation to defense. Antonio Williams, that wide receiver, not only has great hands, but once he catches the ball, he's deadly. Hard to tackle and just very elusive. Defensively, mainly a four-man front and 4-3, and just sound, solid tacklers, really good linebackers. The back end, they get to the ball in a hurry and close those seams up on you, so that if you do get something open, they close it pretty quick. And they're just well-coached, good football team, and there's a reason, they've won 5 straight.
You mentioned Williams, and they make a living off the explosive play. They had that big touchdown pass that really turned the game against Fort D last week. Your defense, how do you feel you run in the secondary to prevent the explosive big down-the-field play?
Well, it's kind of one of those timing things that they've worked really hard on. And, it's kind of like some of the colleges you watch are pros and they got the back shoulder if you're in a certain place, or they throw it outside if you're somewhere else, and they just work hard at that. They got a super talented guy. So, all we can do is make the quarterback make the perfect throw and then be in a position, hopefully, to get your hand in there and make them earn it. And if they do make it, then you just got to line up again and try to make sure they don't make many of them.
Can you afford much of the night to double team Williams? Is that something you can do?
Well, that'd be great if you could, but I feel like the rest of them, if you could do that, then they wouldn't well, let's just say they got a lot of times 2 tight ends and a wing. And if you put 2 out there on Williams, then you might give them something in the box that they can block you at. So it's a tough situation. Maybe on 3rd and 15, you could, maybe do some doubling and then, you just hopefully you'll be able to take care of the run box. If you did that, at least tackle it for 8-9 yards.
What about mindset? I mean, they are a championship team. They think about championship and championship only, and they carry that mindset into the game. You've been there. Gaffney's been there, of course, many, many times over the decades. Does your team match that mindset? The championship is ours, that kind of thing?
Well, I think they kind of grow up with that mindset. So, certainly they have an advantage if their juniors played in the game last year. They also not only played in it, they didn't play a 15-game schedule last year because of COVID, but the year before they did. So they certainly have some advantages with the number of games they played. But our kids, they're not sitting over there thinking about, well, what do they think? Our kids think, hey, it's Friday night, or it's going to be Saturday. It's time to compete, and our kids are going to compete, and so I don't think that's really going to be a part of it.
All right, Dan Jones. Now, Tom Knotts of Dutch Fork, 62 straight unbeaten games for the Silver Foxes, 5 straight state championships. He was asked in a Facebook Zoom earlier this week put on by the high school league about how he handles all the winning that he's enjoyed there at Dutch Fork.
What I found in my life experience has been that success is a double-edged sword. Success can give you a lot of confidence. It can helps your love of the game. It helps you overcome a lot of difficulties. But success also can breed complacency. It can breed a sense of entitlement, and you got to balance those 2 things. When you're successful, the hardest part about being successful is staying on top. And you have to, as coaches, we got to keep being creative. We got to keep trying new ways to motivate. We got to keep trying different things. We just got to keep pushing. The tried and true methods of the weight room, the hard practice. It still rings true. We just got to find a way to get them to continue as they have in the past and as they are right now, buying into, as he said earlier, what the process is. I really do enjoy the process probably more than I do the games. I like the build up to what's coming. I like to see, I like to see us have success in games, but I like to see how our preparation has results in good things on the field. And when you got guys like this, both of them are. Antonio's a silent leader, but can just get things done. And CJ he's our team leader. We just kind of go as he goes, and you got to have those kind of people around you to make to continue the success that we've had in the past.
So tomorrow night, Knotts and Dutch Fork will face Gaffney, another state traditional power that's won a lot of championships and won't be fazed by being in the limelight of a state championship game. Knotts gave this assessment of the Indians.
They've got playmakers. They've got an excellent, I hadn't heard anybody mention their offensive line, but their offensive line is the best that we've seen so far. And on defense, they just play the game like you're supposed to. I love number 6, the way he runs around and how he gets to the football, and he's always in a football posture, and he's always ready to to get involved in the play, to make a play. But they've got good players on both sides of the ball, so we'll have a tough task against us. It should be a great football game Saturday night.
Now, All right, there you go. Comments from both coaches. All right, David Shelton, the moment the state's been waiting on. We got 2 more Shelton says. So 5A championship, Shelton says for the 5A championship, what you got?
I think Dutch Fork is going to win the game, but I think Gaffney is going to make this the best game of the weekend. I think Gaffney can score on Dutch Fork. I think Dutch Fork can score on Gaffney. As good as Gaffney is on defense, they will not have the defensive front that Fort Dorchester had. So I think Dutch Fork will find a way to score some points. But I also think with that, they got 2 backs over 1,200 yards at Gaffney. They run the football. They keep that football from Dutch Fork and they put in touchdowns and not kick field goals, they can definitely win the game.
All right, you got 15 seconds for the 1A. Shelton says.
I've said it. I think Southside Christian's going to win the game. It may not be close. Hopefully Bamberg can compete with that running game, but I think Southside Christian's a better team, and I think they're going to win it.
All right, David, thank you so much. Great year. Thank you, Chris Daring, for coming by. Thank you, Pat Daniel. Great year with you. Thanks to Dennis Switzer here at Benedict for taking care of us. Thanks to Founders. Thanks to all of you. See you next year.
Morning, afternoon, and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107 The Point.